Alright, welcome to another Blender tutorial. This is hopefully going to be a large series about creating the ultimate FPS game setup. Since there aren't too many tutorials, there are some tutorials about FPS games, but they don't cover a lot of the issues that I want to see addressed. So I'm going to hopefully go ahead and cover everything from start to finish for just a first-person shooter rig, and we'll see what goes from there. So this is Blender 2.65 that just came out. And let's go ahead and we're going to jump right into level design. Um, First off, I went and set up my add-ons. I just added, let me see if there's anything that we might, I don't think there's anything I'll use today, although you might want to get the Make Human add-on, since we'll be covering that in a little bit on how to quickly create fracture tools. I believe it will use too. I don't think Cell Fracture does exactly what we want, but we'll probably use fracture tools. But yeah, Make Human is useful for character creation, so let's go ahead and edit that out. This is hopefully going to be like the fastest way possible to create an FPS, since it's just me doing this. Coincidentally, if you want to be part of this, because I'm making an actual game, go ahead and hit me up in the comments, or send me a YouTube message, whatever you want to do. So there's a bunch of different ways you can make a level in Blender. You can also import some if you're more comfortable making levels in SketchUp, you can do that. Although for performance, I would recommend you use single planes, um, not blocks. Although one of the most common ways of making levels uses blocks. So, or I'm going to assume you know the basic Blender stuff, but I will actually turn on screencast keys. Just so you guys can see a little bit about what I'm doing here. So. Sure, looks good. So I just have a plane here, then we're going to tab into edit mode, and then I'm going to hit W, and then I'm going, I have loop tools too, those are very, subdivide, and I can do it over here easier. As you can tell, I'm not a Blender expert. I've been doing this a couple of months, but this is a common way to make a basic plane, basic level. You create a plane, you subdivide it, and then let's say we're going to have the user start out. Usually what they'll do is they'll go to face selection here, in between mouse move, that's a new one on me, and then you go ahead and you can say select all this, and then you can extrude along the z-axis, oops, and then you can select all these, and extrude those too. However, I didn't actually see how much I had extruded that, but the point is they would then start in this room, the character, and then they would be able to walk through the different levels, and then you would have them, walk around, and that'd be the next room there. And that's how you would create your room. You just extrude up along the whole plane. Another way that I would do this, that since performance-wise, you may want just to have solid planes be the blockers, not actual blocks. You can extrude that along the z-axis as well, and then that creates your hallways that way. And I would probably recommend that over the blocking way, since it won't have to render as much. Now a few basic setup things. Let's go into Blender Game. One of the things you want to do is, let's see if I can find this now, is backface culling in the game engine, which is going to be in here somewhere. If I have to pause this, I'm pissed. And wow, that was the problem. So we're going to go immediately into our render settings and click on GLSL. It starts out by multi-texture, but we need GLSL. And then we're going to go ahead and slide down to shading GLSL and then do backface culling. And then what that does is, in here, it's if you're looking at this from the wrong direction, like that, the back right there, that it's not going to render that because the player's never going to see it. The player's going to be in here, they're going to be walking down this hallway, they're not going to see the back of this hallway, so why bother? Where that might come into issue is with this side, if you want them to be able to see this side, but um, for that we might have to extrude another line across, but we'll work on that when we get to it. But basically right now I'm going to have you I'm going to pause and I'm going to just create a small level with rooms and stuff out of this, and I encourage you to do the same, so I'll be right back. So after some testing, we're definitely not going to use a line method. We're definitely going to use a face method, except maybe along the edges. If you want to do that, that would probably be easier because that wouldn't waste so much, but we're definitely going to use the full block method, or at least I am. Alright, and we're back, and as you can see I have a small maze-like structure, since my game is going to be taking place in a old dungeon, and it has to be sort of like a maze because you have to escape. This is kind of the way I made it. Some of these dead ends here, like these half blocks, I'm going to make into like stairways into the next, the upper level, which is why I only extruded one, and these sides here are extruded two Blender units. Since I'm going to have a second floor, I believe, and the way out is going to be on the second floor. Um, and these are extruded like the stairways are extruded 0.5, so half a Blender unit. And I mean, those aren't going. Those are just showing me where the stairs will be. We'll probably be modeling something for them, or something like that. Let me see. And the way I would recommend doing that is essentially just highlighting everything you need to do and then extruding it all at once. That way, when you go to clean things up, like if I hit F, I can face off that entire block, get rid of those extra verts and all that. So that's what I'm going to have us do next. Is we're going to go ahead, since this is finalized, quote unquote. We're going to go ahead and just select these and hit F to face them off so that they take up less space, since they don't really need to be subdivided anymore. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, and we're back, and as you can see, most of the roofs, the tops are all faced off. The starting part, obviously, whenever you extrude it separately, it doesn't face off, or at least it didn't for me. So that's why you want to select them all individually. But I also faced off the floors and the walls as well, just get us less verts. So one thing we need to do right now is go ahead and grab a freaking texture to throw on our floors. So, because we don't want to look at gray stuff, that's a boring first-person shooter. So let's go ahead and kind of select all of that. Let's go ahead and drag a window open, and then we're going to go ahead and first make sure that we're in the material slot. Well, don't have to have it yet, but let's go ahead and change this to UV image editor. And as you can tell, I did not delete all this before I... We'll pretend that didn't happen. So then we're going to go ahead, and this will be blank for you. You're going to make sure you're in edit mode, hit U, and then we're going to do, since we're lazy, people should have mark seams and all that. We're not going to give a crap. We're going to do smart UV project, hit OK, and that's going to go ahead and do everything. And then we'll realize that, hey, you know what? I don't want to do everything. I just want the freaking floors. So let's go ahead and this is why I joined the floors too, even though it might not have been advisable, because it makes everything sort of, you have to make everything the same if they're all one big flat piece. So now we just have the floors, and then smart UV project, bam, that's our floors right there. So and it helps that this is just one big cube and all flat, but if you had something more complicated, you'd probably have to mark seams and all that. So let's go ahead and open an image, and this is an image I downloaded from CG Textures. You can just go on there and find one. Floors, boom, boom. That's a floor right there. As you can see though, it's massive. I don't have the material set up. So since we're in the material thing, let's go ahead and do a new material. I'm going to call this floors. And we're going to assign those to floors, and then we're going to go into Oh, well, why isn't it showing? We're going to go into this and we're going to do new, and we're just going to call this diffuse, and we're going to do image or movie, and we're going to, ours is already in there, so floor brick, and then I'll show floor brick in there. And then we're going to go coordinates, UV, UV map, although you don't technically have to do that. Flat is fine by me. And then if we turn that off, go into texture, you can see the floors. However, that's massive. No one would make floors with that big of seams. You would, it'd be horrible. So we're going to go ahead and just hit the S key and then bam, scale that right up. And let's take a look. Obviously this isn't the greatest brick for a dungeon, but it's what I have on hand. And see, the nice part is, since you have all selected, it's all going to be seamless. It's all going to just fill right in. It doesn't allow for much variation though. If you want to change parts of the floor, you could do it much easier if it was all separated in tiny little bricks. So maybe that's the way you want to go. But as you can see, it looks pretty good. I mean, it's there. How much more can you ask? So I'm not sure what's happening over there, but that could be because there's not enough light. So yeah, so I think we'll call that part good right now. Let's go ahead and just Shift D this lamp, bring it over. As you can see, I may have missed that. I'm lazy, let's not worry about it. And that is a lazy way to texture things, and I like it. I really like it. I don't have to mark seams, I don't have to be fancy with things. Obviously that helps that this is a flat surface, but yeah, so that's the basis of our floor. That is just the basic texture. Because if you zoom in and look at this, if we're going, this looks like, looks like crap. It's a freaking, it's shiny and it looks crappy. But we'll start dealing with that one later. And let me see. Gotta see how much time I have on here. All right, and let's go ahead and do the walls here. So I had, again, you'll notice a few where I missed, but this is going to be a longer thing, so I'm going to pause this while I select all the walls, and then I'll be right back. On a side note, you might want to group these. I think you can, I haven't done this in Blender yet, but you should be able to group these all to one group, and then group one as the walls, one as the floor, one as the ceilings. That'll make things a lot easier in selecting. So I lied, I was thinking about object groups, not vertex groups, but you can add a vertex group called walls. I just selected all of my walls and then hit assign, but it doesn't work. At least for me, it doesn't. Who knows why? Again, I haven't been using Blender for a terribly long time. But if you hit deselect and then hit select, selects a whole bunch of other crap. Probably something to do with the vertices that are connected. Speaking of which, one thing I like to do is select them all and then hit remove doubles. So 44 vertices were removed, and then hit type normals, make normals consistent. Oh, that changed a lot. Okay. Don't do that, because it's doing backface culling on the wrong way now, and I'm not sure how to change that. If someone knows, let me know. That'd be great. So don't do the normals thing. Backface culling doesn't seem to like that, so. Alright, so that at least removed the vertices. I wonder if that makes... Ooh, okay. Yeah, that doesn't... Okay, well, I guess we're going to have to go back on removing our vertices then. Let's go ahead and... First, we got to get a texture on this before we do anything, so... Let's go ahead and... we might be able to select it by this, actually, material selection. So let's add a new one, and we're going to call it walls. And let's go ahead and... That looks like it's already UV unwrapped, but let's go ahead and smart UV project, hit OK, bam, there's all your freaking walls right there. Amazing, isn't it? Sure it is. Open image, go to, our CG textures, and let's see, oops, not floors, walls. I think, yeah, this is one I was using. I actually should probably get another one. I didn't like this one. It just wasn't working out well, but that's not the point. Let's go here and, oops, new, and then hit walls dot. My naming is horrible. I always change namings, don't name the same, but we'll try and get things better. Let's go to UV map. And the reason I'm always choosing that is because we'll probably bake a light map in. I haven't done that yet, but that should be possible. Flat and image or oops, nope, nope, image or movie. We're going to open, go back to here, textures. Oh, it's already in there, so we're loading this. Let's not even worry about that. Let's go bam, and then wall brick 1024. So that's all fine and dandy. As you can see, it is way too big again, and that does not look right. Hold on, let me make sure. That's the floor brick, and then that's the wall brick. Okay. Alright, hold on a second. It doesn't look like that's the right one. Let me look at this. Yeah, smart old me, forgot to hit assign, that's what I thought. You just have to go back to walls and hit assign. So that it's actually assigned to the walls. So let's rotate this 90 degrees, and not all of them are perfect. Great. That's what laziness gets you. As you can see, some of these are twisted the wrong way. I wonder if there's an easy way to... Alright, we can try cube projection. It looks like it's working better now. That probably just no because there's no light there. Yep, yep, everything looks good. Okay, alright, we'll take that. Obviously, again, probably not the best way to do it, but it's a little bit too much. Alright. Alright, well isn't that dandy? We now, so as you can see, missing floor textures, but whatever, not too concerned about it. So those are our walls right there. They now have some textures on them, which is great. So, but again, as you can see, the textures, they look like it's paint on top, you know, there's no give to it. And this, unfortunately, I've had issues with this exact image, but we'll see what we can do with it. But next we're gonna work on improving the actual textures, making them look well instead of like shiny linoleum like they do now. So and that's what, if you change the to multi-texture and stuff, it'll look a lot different. But GLSO is the way we want to go. So let's go ahead and go back to that. From what I understand, it gives you a lot more power over them. So let's go ahead and let's start with our floor. So let's go back to this. And now let's see if texture assignment works. So let's deselect, and then we'll go to floors and hit select. Definitely did not. Oh, because we didn't do it right in the first place. Well, well, well. Don't even learn a lot. Oh, let's walls. That works at least. Floors, select. I wonder how it can. Oh, it's okay. That's definitely not. All right. Oh, you know what? Those were supposed to be walls. Hold on. Let's. Nope, that wasn't what I meant to do. And I'm holding. It should show it, but it's apparently not. Holding down Shift and Alt, and then just selecting all those, and then assigning them to the walls. I'm really hoping. Nope, I shouldn't do that. Okay, so I hit select on top of that, and then I hit assign, and then I should be able to hit deselect. and select and select them all. Alright, now as you can see, these are not too happy with it because they're added later. So what we're going to do is go back and Shift Alt. Oops, man. Alright, now that we have all those selected, let's go back into our, let's hit U and then do, sure, Q projection again. Let's go back into this and wall brick, zoom in, and then scale it out. Can it be larger brick than the one we have there? Who knows? Probably shouldn't be. There's probably some sort of rule about that. Alright. Well enough. Good enough. Don't care that much. Alright, so now that we have that all done, that's fancy. I like that I can do that. That's literally the first time I realized that I could select and deselect it, but I don't care. That's enough. Focus here, guys. Now we're going to start with our floors. We're going to go into our textures. Now, usually just one diffuse texture. That ain't going to cut it. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up our little GIMP program here. And you can download this for free, all that good stuff. Go in our textures, floors, and then we're going to do floor brick. What is that one? B. What's, oh, a bump map. Oh, that wasn't doing it right. Okay. We want to create at least a normal and a specular map. So we're going to open our regular one. And GIMP has plugins that you can download, and you'll have to download these. Normal map plugin right there. It creates a normal map. What you're going to do is hit 3D preview. And then what a normal map is, just pretty much bumps. It adds bumps and depth to it. And I just minimize that. Alright. So what you can do here is you can zoom in and you can take a look and you can see that tiny little bit of bump, but you might not have see enough. So let's see if we can. There we go. If you change the scale to like 4, let's see if that gives you some bump. You know, we don't want it too much since it'll look odd. It'll look like every little, because these bricks are kind of flat. You see there, but this bump map takes, or this normal map takes the like the speckles and color differences and creates sort of bumps out of them. So you got to be careful about that. But you can see it's getting the grooves in there. It's able to get them fairly well. So essentially, you can just hit OK there, and then you can kind of control and mouse wheel in. You can see where it's kind of bumpy, has some texture to it. New file, and I want to look at my old one to see if I had this much texture on it, because I don't think I had this much. Oh, I did. I definitely did. Probably had more. Okay. Anyway, that's your normal map. So save that as your normal map, and then actually, then we'll go ahead and this is a specular map. It just shows where the light is going to hit and where it won't. As you can see, these grooves remain dark, so they're not going to have the light hit. That's essentially all you do to do that is you take your regular texture. And please feel free to look this up. This is just stuff I've found on how to do it. I haven't really found a great tutorial on it, but hue saturation, I think I just, nope. Nope, none of this is what I did. I went to tools, colors, brightness, contrast. There we go. Oh, first, boy, desaturate by luminosity. Hit OK. So that desaturates it. Then you go to brightness, contrast. Then you, let me see, I think, yeah, I went somewhere around in there. just so it gets all that. There might be a better way to do it. I don't know. If you do, let me know. That's pretty much it. It's also like bump maps and displace maps. I've had a hard time getting them to work exactly. And also the texture we downloaded is tiled, which means that it looks seamless, but you'll notice that some of them aren't. If you download the textures, some of them aren't seamless. And you can do a sort of basic seamless using Make Seamless. I also download Tile and Tileable. Those are two other extensions you can download off of like Git plugins or something. Yeah, and they might work a little better. I have just been avoiding using those for now since I just download tileable textures for now. But that would be how you do that. So let's go back into Blender. So what we're going to do is, I hate it when this happens. I don't know why that happens, but it just won't let me zoom in and it goes crazy on me. But alright, so we're going to take a quick look at something like this. And we haven't done the lighting too, which I should probably, since this is an outdoor lighting, it's going to be fairly simple. We're just going to have our spotlights hanging kind of close, and they probably won't be that bright. Let's see. Just throw a few of these around here. I actually should probably adjust the brightness before I go copying them. They'll probably be a little bit less energy. Let's do 10 and 0.5. 0.3. And you really should always get your lighting like all set up before you get all fancy with your textures, because you want to know what your lighting is before you go ahead and go crazy, because then you'll change your lighting and your textures will look all crappy and it'll be like, hello. But, all right, we'll just call it good for now, since I'm lazy. All right, and this crap, yeah, right, that didn't work. And go back into edit mode. Let's see. Let's go back to our floors material. Sorry, tab out of edit mode. We don't need to be in edit mode, be in object mode. And now this is where you just start playing with all your settings and you start looking at everything, and that's making no difference. There we go. Specularity, you can turn that down so it won't be so shiny bright like it's being reflected. I think you can diffuse it and see what goes with doing much. Not sure about that. Shading, you can make it shadeless. That's really not something this is for. Translucency, should make it translucent, more translucent. Emit is just kind of, I think, how the light bounces off. Really, quite frankly, I don't need much light bouncing off. So, ambient, I'm not sure what that does. Again, I can't help it. I haven't really done a lot of research, just so you know. Nothing else really in here, I don't think. So let's go back to this. Now our diffuse texture. Let's go ahead and add another one. And we're going to do new, and we're going to do floor dot n, or normal. This is going to be our normal map, and then we're going to make it image or movie. Open, and we're going to go to our textures, floors, and do our normal map. And you can see it looks crazy weird. That's because it's influencing our color. This is where you do where all the normal maps influence. And you're like, oh my goodness, that is not what I was looking for. That's again because we need UV. And that's pretty. And that, of course, I really should just assign that to not a texture so it's not busy displaying crap on it. We'll do it later maybe. As you can see, very heavily normal map. So what we do a lot of times is, and by the way, Blender, if you just check like if you didn't have here, let's go up to here, uncheck that so there's no normal map. If you went into your diffuse and you checked normal, bam, there you go. There's your normal map. Ooh, no stuff to do with GIMP. But from what I, wow, that's really 0.02. Yeah. So but from what I understand, that looks really good. I am impressed with how well it looks. Anyway, um, this is something that Blender has to calculate, I guess. Although you should be able to bake it out into an actual texture. Um, so that's something you might want to look into is baking it out. So you don't have to get GIMP. You don't have to get the textures. And I think it's under like the render. You can just do. It should be in here. Bake, and then you can bake the normals. And then I think tangent is what they recommend. And then if you hit bake, it should take. Oh, that's crazy weird. Ooh, cool. Anyway, I don't quite know what that did. By the way, you should be saving this all the time. Because then you run into. Oh, I think I baked it to the. Ah, shoot. Hold on. I think I baked it over one of my. Okay, hold on. I baked it over one of my images. So, okay, there we go. There we're back now. But anyway, I think if you did it like a new image in here, you could bake it to like a new image. I'm not quite sure how that works. I haven't done it myself, but I just, from what I was told, Blender has to calculate it real time. And so I was like, well, I'll just do it in GIMP because I have the plugins for it, but maybe Blender will be a better option. So, that's not bad. 0.0. So you just have to kind of mess around with this until it looks kind of the way you want it, and that doesn't look bad to me. So I'm going to say that that's probably what I'll do for that. So now I have my diffuse and normal, and as you can see, that gave it a little bit of textured look, so a little bit of depth look. Another one you'll want is specular. So let's go ahead and hit new image or movie, and then we're going to go open game assets, textures, floors, specular, bam. And again, you'll have the same, oh no, hit UV, UV map, flat, and uncheck the, oh, but you can get some nice effects with that overall, but we'll uncheck that. And then we're going to go to specular. I think color is what you're supposed to use. You can see it kind of gives it too much of a sheen there, so you can kind of lower that down just a little bit. And it just gives it just a little bit more of a lighting effect where you can see the lights and darks. Because without it, it just doesn't look like anything's really hitting that. But once you hit that, you can see it kind of, where's that extra light coming from? Yeah, who knows. So as you can see, also that disappeared. We'll figure that out. But as you can see, that specular just adds a little bit of nice little lighting there. And if you really want, you can turn that up. Oh, that's all the way to 1. So, and that'll give it more of a shiny look. So, and I don't know where that. Maybe that light is supposed to be reflected. I don't know because that shouldn't happen. But I don't want someone to do like, what did I have it at before? I don't know, 0.5. Sure, looks good. Maybe there's no light there. No, there shouldn't be. Well, whatever. Let's go back to our walls and fix whatever the heck happened here. Like baked over it. Let's open this back up. Go to our walls. Bang. Alright, that's back to looking good. Oh, it's from here. I'm telling you, I really have some issues. Let's put that down there. Well, one of them, maybe it was that one there. Whatever. Either way, you can now see the specular on the tiles. If you really want to see how someone does it, download. It's called the bathroom demo from YouTube, and they will really show you how to get that done. So, but we're definitely gonna wrap this part up for now.